This review comes after lesson 80. Please make sure that you try to do each problem before you watch the video to see where you struggle. The first problem, a student is choosing a 6-digit password. So I write down what I read. There's my 6-digit password. Only uses the digits 0 through 9 are allowed. How many possible if digits may not be repeated? That's important, not be repeated. So that for this first digit, I have 10 possibilities. Now, if I use, for example, the digit of 5, that means I may not use it here. So now I have 9 possibilities, and so on. 8, 7, 6, 5. Now, if I multiply these together, I would get 30,240 possibilities. A shorter way to do this would be to use our permutation. We'd have 10 possible, and I am choosing 5 because I can use, oh, sorry, not 5, but we're going to be using 6. For this, we use permutation and not combination because order does matter for a password, and we will also get 30,240. For this next problem, we're going to be graphing a system of linear inequalities. So for this first one, I'm going to graph x is greater than or equal to -2. So here's my -2. I would use a solid line because it's or equal to. And then where is it greater than -2? Everything over here. Now for this next part, we have to solve for y. So I'm going to go minus 2x to both sides. So I have -2y is less than or equal to -2x plus 6. Now I have to divide, but if you remember, if we divide by a negative, we have to switch the inequality around. Now for this, I go up 3, put a dot, and then I go up 1 and over 1, put a dot. We would use a solid line as well. Now for this one, I check the point 0, 0. Is 0 greater than or equal to 0 plus 3? That is false. So this point, the origin, is false. That makes everything up here true. And you see where they overlap is up in this area. Going to the next problem, finding the roots of the equation. To find the roots of an equation, first thing we have to do, we have to try to factor it. Since we have x to the 5th, 4th, and 3rd, I know I can take out an x to the 3rd. So I'm left with x squared. That's what I like because automatically x squared is a quadratic. Now there's 3 ways of solving this. Since it's a quadratic, we could solve it by using the quadratic formula, -b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a, or we could graph it, or we could factor it. This one looks like it's easy to factor because it is a perfect square. I would have x plus 7 and x plus 7. Remember, I check the outsides and insides to make sure that they equal the 14. So let's put this a little nicer. Here has a multiplicity of 3. X plus 7 has a multiplicity of 2. To solve this equation, don't know what I can do, so I automatically take 4 sine theta. I bring over plus 2 square root of 3 plus 2 square root of 3. Now I can divide by 4. Which would give me square root of 3 over 2. Now, if I do the sine function and using this as my theta, sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So that tells me this is a 30, 60, 90. Since this is the middle term, I know that this would have to be my 60. The 30 is across from the 1. So this would have to be my 60 degrees and I should label it degrees or I could put 60 degrees, or you could say it would be 120 degrees. Either degree would be acceptable.